Hi, from California, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zira Bello, producer and presenter on Bulgarian national television. In Europe, and unfortunately here in the United States where I am right now, the left are in hysteria, as usual, over the logical tariffs introduced by Donald Trump. According to them, he was the biggest threat to the world and wants to screw us all. However, those who believe in this are not just far, far, far from the truth, they're also in another planet. Yeah, planet stupid. And why do so many people think that? Very simple. Because the media doesn't stop repeating it. Or more precisely, the paid leftist mouthpieces hammer it into our heads 3 times an hour as if repeating annoying TV commercial for detergent. This is not journalism. This is propaganda on steroids. The real problem here is not Trump, but the left. They have become like a tumor that has spread its tentacles into every institution, and especially in 99% of the media platforms. And people who don't have access to alternative sources information, like what I'm saying right now, have a hard time distinguishing the truth from manipulation. But who can blame them, really? We live in a world where falsehood is always dressed in a much better, much prettier packaging than the simple, naked truth. Sometimes, however, the result of this shameless lies is not just simply misleading, but a downright social catastrophe. Look exactly what's happening here in the United States. Self-proclaimed activists are setting Teslas on fire, thinking that this is how they're gonna get and hit Elon Musk. In fact, however, they're only hitting thousands of ordinary people who just want to pay their bills and put food on the tables. Not understanding that even if Elon Musk lost 99.9% of everything he owns, he'd still be richer than 99.9% of all of us put together. The same goes for those idiots that block freeways because this is how you save the planet. Of course, we all know that this is the only way to save the planet is by blocking the way of someone who is on their way to work or just wants to go home after a 12-hour shift. For them, reality is just the background for an Instagram or TikTok story. But let's get back to the tariffs. What do they actually mean? Only thing Trump wants is to stop the world digging in America's pockets. That's it. Or in other words, simply put, fair trade for all. The entire global elite begin to whine that the tariffs are disastrous for the world. But for which world? For yours and mine, or for those few global thugs on private jets who make billions of unfair trade agreements under the table? The truth is that if anyone will suffer from those myths, will not be ordinary people, but precisely those who have so far benefited from America being the cash cow of the world. And no, this is not populism. This is elementary calculation. The world has become accustomed to the fact that the United States will always pick up the check. Here you can see exactly what tariffs have been imposed on America so far, or more precisely against America. And in return, the favorable tariffs these very countries have benefited from for many, many years. What a bunch of freeloaders. Everyone has at least one freeloader friend that sooner or later we all get tired of and eventually have no choice but to let them know, hey man, how about picking up the check once in a while? What is the definition of a tariff? A tariff is a tax, but its purpose is not just to increase revenues, but to make a nation economically independent from others and to make its citizens rely on each other and not on foreign subjects. A fairly simple and understandable definition. Also very fair definition.
China, first row. China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. We're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charge anybody anything. But now we're going to charge. European Union, they're very tough, very tough traders. 39%. We're going to charge them 20%. And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office
So when other countries continue to tax the import of US products, we will simply start taxing theirs. Amazingly, even though Trump still gives everyone pretty good deal, not the same sweet baby deal as before, but it's still damn good deal if you ask me. They're still kicking and whining like babies that someone has pulled out the pacifier provided by mommy out of their mouth. Take the French President Schmuck Macron, for example, who said that Trump's tariffs are brutal and unfounded, and warns that France could suspend his investments. Sorry, Schmuck Macron, you have to find someone else to bang beside Uncle Sam. Again, it's not the same sweet deals you had before, but still very generous and fair deal. Especially if you take under consideration for how many years you've been taking advantage of the good old United States. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not Trump's attempt to destroy the world and screw us all. It's simply a negotiation tactic, and I think it's going to work. Let's get our countries to reduce their tariffs, and they will reduce ours. And that makes sense. This is called fair trade. May bring few jobs right here or in your countries. It'll be good for everybody. What will happen after that? In my opinion, it's very clear. Fair trade, fair competition. If everybody lowers their tariffs, good products will sell better than bad products. Crappy products have two options. One, become better. Two, be eliminated from the world market. Pay attention, China. You know, sometimes in order to fix something, you first have to shake the very system to its very foundation.